Hey everybody, what's up? It's Sipping the Scales. I'm Shay Dawson.
I'm Tania Rivers, making Shay laugh yet again. Welcome back, tippers.
What up, people?
Shay can't. I think I tickle poor little Shay. She gets a kick out of me, but that's why she loves me, right? That's why you love me.
Anyway.
While we're laughing now, we're going to switch gears because our topic today is a bit heavy. And I know that there are so many people that can relate to this topic. They may be experiencing it right now or have experienced it in the past. And it's how do you cope and move on after losing a loved one? And it's definitely hard as hell, but it's part of life. So Shay and I thought it was important to kind of go down this journey and share our thoughts with everyone today.
Yeah. And also to kind of discuss, a lot of people have been getting diagnosed with cancer in my life or someone that I know.
Wow.
And all of the things that involve or that come with a diagnosis. How do you get ready? How do you plan? How do you continue living? How do you continue going through treatment and working? And, you know, if it's a loved one, I mean, there's just a lot of things to talk about here when it comes to death. And it's kind of morbid, but at the same time, you know, we got to get prepared. We got to talk about it and we got to start mentally preparing because any one of us at any day can go. And are we prepared? You know, once that has happened. Are we
prepared to set up our families as best as we can? I think we all know that it's part of life. We don't like to talk about it because it makes us. It's not a great feeling when you start thinking about that. One day I'm not going to be here. One day I'm going to lose someone that I love. It just doesn't sound great to the ears. It doesn't sound great to the soul. But at the same time, we know that it's an expectation that it will happen. And the best, as much as we can, of course, like within our control, we have to try to prepare for it so that we're not, especially financially, right? I think that's a big part of it. But there's so many different ways in terms, and we can explore that during this conversation as it relates to preparation. Although I think in terms of the loss in itself, especially with someone who lost a father, someone who lost a younger brother way too soon, you're never going to prepare for the impact of losing someone, and you're never going to fill that void with your loved one moving on. For me, I always say move on to someplace better. You know, those of you who know me, I'm a believer, and I believe that when someone's not here and they are a believer, that they go to a better place in heaven. And that's where I think about that gives me peace and comfort, knowing where my loved ones are no longer here. A few of them were suffering, so that's no longer happening. So that kind of gives me joy. But at the same time, I really miss those people who went home.
Yeah. Where do I start with? Well, I did go visit my uncle in Austin, Texas recently. He just retired. And it's always kind of bittersweet when I'm with my dad's side of the family. I actually got to see my dad too, and awesome. my siblings on my dad's side, my stepmom and my Aunt L'Oreal, and all. I just love all of them, my little cousins. And it's kind of strange because our grandparents were the backbone of that side of the family, and they're no longer there. So we always talk about them all the time. They're literally memorialized in that side of the family's house. Like if you walk in, you're going to see Alfonsi and Marietta, my grandparents. You're always going to see them because they just literally laid the foundation for our family. But like I told you before, I shared that my dad had went through a really, really tough time losing his parents. My grandmother and my dad were very integral in his life. And when they passed, he did not have the capacity to continue to be the person he was. Like he is a completely different man now, but like like he didn't handle death great. You know what I mean? And I was young, but at the same time, I still feel them. You know, I still feel the void that they left in our family's life. Like it's still hard for us to kind of like gather and meet. And that was like, it had been a while, so about like 6 years since we had gotten together. So it's like, I think that's how I think about death, is like how they leave, what they leave and how they leave in their memory. Like they last, they are present every time we're together. Like we feel them, you know?
Yeah, it's like an imprint that they leave on your heart, on your soul, on your overall well-being. I recently lost one of my aunts, Kathy.
I remember.
One of my closest cousins,
COVID,
Tashelle. Right? Yep. Her mom lost her to COVID. And it's just been so disruptive to my system, to my family. She was in her 50s, you know, and she had some other health complications before. And her body just could not fight COVID off, and we lost her. And it was very, very painful. I was just looking at a picture of her the other day, and my heart just felt so sad, just knowing that she's not here. And my cousin is an only child, so she has been really having a hard time. And I've been trying to just really wrap my arms around her and give her some support. But being an only child and being just knowing how close she was with her mother has just been such a tough journey. And I could tell you what has worked for me. Now, granted, how we process and deal with death looks different for each and every one of us. Like, but for me, I can tell you that going to see a therapist was tremendous for me. There would be no way I would have been able to move on from, like, first I lost my dad, and then 3 months later, literally 3 months later, I lost my brother through suicide, and he was very young, about 21. And that was, if you can imagine, just catastrophic. And I could not at all function if it wasn't going to therapy to give me some healing, to allow me to talk it out. Because I think for those of you who've ever experienced suicide in your family, there's so many questions that are left unanswered. And sometimes, I know for me, there was a lot of questions that I blamed myself. Like, I was his older sister. How come I didn't know this was going to happen? I talked to him the day before. Should I had catch something? Like, it was a lot of internal blaming that happened. And if it wasn't for counseling, I would have never been able to have that shift to understand and go through that healing process. So for me, counseling helped tremendously. And, you know, we brought on Shay's boo, who is an expert in that field. And we had a whole episode on mental health and the importance of it. So if you haven't listened to it, please take the time to go out and listen to our pod, specifically the episode around mental health, because I think it's so helpful, and we need to hear it. But I do know that, especially when I think about some of my family members, they don't believe in counseling. So they try to heal on their own. And sometimes it can, I would say, delay the process of healing when you don't have support to be able to walk you through that journey.
And I would say part of the problem, and it is a problem, is that we don't prepare for these things. Like when, you know, I don't know what the steps, you know, you and your family took, but we should talk about, you know, once someone is diagnosed with something, or we know that it's, you know, heading in the wrong direction or not going well. Like, my friend was telling me today at work, shout out to Elise for pulling me aside and talking to me about this, because it was on her mind and it was on her heart and she was struggling with it. But it's like, I don't even know how this person wants to be buried. I don't even know, you know, where this person wants to be buried. Like, we've never had that conversation. And now to have it while that person's sick, it's like, how do you have these conversations? Is the will put in place? Do I know the passwords to your things on your laptop? or, your important documents. Where are those documents located? Do you have those securely, safely, and organized somewhere that we can pick up where you left off to pay your bills or pay your debt? I think those are the things that cause stress when people die or pass away. It divides the family. So how can we be proactive in putting those things in place? When is it time to talk about it? I never had those conversations with my family, but now I'm thinking like, dang, like I need to maybe me and my brother have mentioned like, you need to make the money. I will take care of mom. But like, we actually need to continue to have that conversation and sometimes it could be vice versa. Like I need to, make sure I know where stuff is for my mom too. Like, hey mom, in case anything ever happens to me, ask Nafis, here's our documents. Here's, our life insurance. We need to have those conversations because part of the problem is the stressful part and the division of the family because those things are not sorted out.
Just brings unnecessary drama
and stress
to the forefront and stress that you don't need. So I think, Shay, you said a key word that I think we need to just dive into a little bit, which is being proactive. So have you ever heard of the saying, get your house in order?
Yes.
Right. So I think this is one of those times where you have to get your house in order. You have to ensure that you have adequate insurance plans that's going to cover not just the cost of whatever you choose to do with the body of your loved one, but in addition to, will it be able to cover some things and give your family support, especially if it's someone who had played a key role in providing financial support to the family. What happens when the home is absent of that person? So, do we have enough coverage for our life insurance? So I think that's a question that we need to explore. I think you also, if you don't have life insurance, please do get it. It's really important for families to have it. There are some families who don't, believe it or not, don't have life insurance. And I've had family members who passed away and we all had to come look in our pockets and all collectively come together to support to get our loved one buried. So I think, we need to 100% have life insurance policies up to date and you know what they are. I think a second thing is, Shay, you mentioned it, which is to have a will. So that way you can help stop the bitterness that kind of manifests into families, especially when there is no will and they're fighting like, I want the house, or mommy left me that house and you wasn't there. You didn't help take care of her. I was there doing all the nights, blah, 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 blah. Why do you think you should get the house? So I've seen that happen before when my grandmother passed away and there was a house to be split amongst, 6 children. And that was a lot of drama. So again, life insurance policies up to date, know what they are. Second is, do you have a will? If not, then now it's the time when you are of a sound mind to be able to talk about what that should look like with your loved ones and your family members.
But also to talk about, when do you get those things, right? What age do you turn, when you start thinking about your life insurance, your will? Is it when you get in a relationship? Is it when you have a kid? What are the steps?
As soon as you become an adult.
Right. And then also your will. Do you have to have assets? Do you have to have a home? Do you have to have savings? Like, what is it that, what I think we need to normalize the conversation of when you turn, 30 or when you turn 25 or whatever the conversation is, and maybe we can come back, and do another session once we do some more research and find out. But I just wanted to get the conversation started too on that aspect of like, there's a lot of people in my life going through stuff, and I'm trying to just try and figure out how to help them mitigate some of the things that they're worried about before they, get sicker, right? Like they're worried about their kids. They're worried about their home. They're worried about what happens to the things that they have cared for, while here and while healthy and while, it was value to them, and they want to pass it on. So like, how can we help them, go peacefully, or, try and muster up all the strength to get better and get healthy and not worry about that, because stress also deteriorates the body, right?
Big time. Faster than anything else. I mean,
So that's why I was asking one of my friends today, who has cancer, and it's uncurable. And she doesn't ever want to talk about it, but it's all I can ever think about when I see her, because I don't know when the last time I'm going to, I don't know. And she also won't tell me.
That's hard.
It's really hard. She won't tell me when. Like, so it's just like, I tell her, like, I just want to laugh with you. I just want to be with you. I just want to be around you. Like, just help me do that.
Yeah.
You know, like, help me be with you. And like, what can I do to make it better and help your husband and help you? And like, she has kids and she, you know, and it's like,
that's a lot.
It just sucks because she's somebody who shouldn't have cancer. She's so positive and so beautiful and so giving and so funny. And you're like, why her? You know what I'm saying? And like, I know that's what's causing her stress, and that's what's causing her angst, is worrying about other people. And then she doesn't want to burden me or burden anyone else. And I tell her, the way we were raised or way you were raised, that's not right. To wait until it's too late to like have, I told her, I said, the thing that hurt me the most when people passed in my life is that they tried to shield me and I didn't get to like say my last stuff or have those last memories because you tried to be okay. You know?
This is not the time to try to be a hero. This is the time where it's all about having real, authentic conversations. And that's tough, right? Like, no one, again, when you know there's especially for those who have an end date that they know about a little sooner than others because there is an illness, I'm sure there's just so much weight. And how do you begin to even articulate how to have a conversation with a loved one, knowing that there's an expiration date that's near in sight? I think that is just so hard. And I think getting help through that, you know, I'm always going to recommend getting assistance through tough times, because there's just some, you know, it's hard to do it on your own. So sometimes even bringing in, if it's a life coach or a therapist or someone that can help you be able to have those conversations, to go a long way. You know what, Shay, I was on Twitter and you had retweeted and it touched my soul. I kept looking at the picture and it made my heart so heavy. There was a young woman. I think she had 6 daughters. Beautiful, all beautiful little girls. Looks like from a baby, so holding a baby in her arm, up to maybe like preteen. And I don't know if it's her husband, but her significant other, the father of all of their, I think 6 or 7 girls.
Yes.
Stabbed her. And she died and left behind
multiple times
6 beautiful little girls. And my heart just ached. I saw it and I looked at it and I looked at it again. And I just, you know, it just touched my soul, because, you know, and the picture was very playful with them wearing like pajamas and little girls making cute little faces.
The way they live.
They just look so happy, and they look like this is us. This is our family. You know, so seeing that just made me think about, wow, like, who is going to help that family?
Same thing.
Who is going to guide those fresh young little minds that lost someone so significant to them in their life, losing their mother, you know, like
their father.
I kept thinking that. Yeah. And their father did it. Yeah. So now their father is going to jail for the rest of his life, right? They lose both of their parents. Who's taking in these 6 beautiful little girls, and
with that
who's
trauma,
helping them?
Yeah.
With that trauma.
Yeah.
Exactly. I had a hard time just wrestling with it in my spirit when I saw it. It was very tough. Yeah.
And then that even makes me think about, and I did retweet that because I don't know, it was in my heart to just share that this person lost their life and that we need people to pray for them. And then, you know, you have the La Brea accident in Los Angeles on Slauson. I don't know if you heard, but this traveling nurse was fighting with her boyfriend, and she got in her car and had been drinking and drove straight through the intersection while there was traffic and she killed 6 people, including a mother, a pregnant woman, a pregnant mother, their infant child, the fiance. And they were on their way to a doctor's appointment for their unborn baby. She was driving so fast that the car basically just exploded into a fiery thing.
Oh my.
And she was minor injuries.
No.
And everyone that she hit died. And it's like...
It happens, and it's so devastating because,
what's happening to them? And how are their families coping with that? And what did that leave behind? And, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, how do you move on from that? Yeah. From sudden death, from murder. Tragically.
Yeah.
Driving, like literally you did everything right in your life. And all you're doing is waiting at an intersection. And someone who is in a state of chaos and doesn't know what to do, takes it. And I don't know, it seemed like she was trying to commit suicide, or I don't know. But it's just... It's sad. Just crazy. It's sad.
And it's painful, especially when, like you said, here's a family just all excited that's going to an appointment to learn more about their unborn child. And for that to happen is just mind blowing to me. And also it's my brother that passed away, his girlfriend. So before he passed, he had a girlfriend, and they were in a car. She was in a car and she was pregnant, and it was hit by a drunk driver. She did survive, but the baby, her unborn, their unborn child didn't. And, it's just, it really just sits at a place that really brings me so much anger and frustration when I hear that people are under the influence behind a wheel, because you don't realize that the impact that you make on others when you make very poor decisions. When in a world where there's Ubers and Lyfts and taxis and just designated drivers, if you're somewhere, like, make the smart decision. Don't try to think that you're okay. I mean, there's times when I go out and, me, everyone teases me I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking. So one glass of wine, I'm like, ooh. 2 glasses, I'm like, help me to my car. Right. So when I feel like, if I know I'm going out to have fun and I'm drinking, what do I do, Shay? You see me getting out of a car, like, is no questions asked. I am having
Lyft, Uber.
I'm getting an Uber.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. I'm not even going to chance it, because I know there's the intention that I'm drinking, and I know who I am, and I'm not going to ever take that chance, right? And that's under any influence. Right. And that's even, what else is being mindful? Brother Muhammad was telling me about this the other day. Driving when you're super duper tired. Because they compare that. Yeah. Because they say that's like driving tired is like driving under the influence. Absolutely. Because you're just not functioning well. And I try to be more mindful of that too, because the last thing that I want to do is, because I made a poor decision, I don't want that to negatively impact and become very disruptive to someone else's life. So I think those are just things that we need to be mindful of, and, know that the only behavior that we can control is our own. And we need to make sure that we are doing the right things, especially as it relates to having enough common sense to not go behind a wheel and when you are under influence of anything.
Yeah, no, those are great points, and we all have to do, our part. And I mean, death can come in so many forms. It's crazy. It's crazy. I do remember having a healthy relationship with death. When I was in high school, my high school boyfriend's father was diagnosed with cancer, but he was one of the type of people, he let us, like, he educated on us what was happening to him. He had dialysis all the time. So he had these little marks here, or these little tracks here, where he would connect to them to filter the blood and clean the blood.
Yeah.
And, he would let us feel them and talk to us about it. And he made us closer to him, and we got to, like, be with him until, he couldn't really do much. Like, he would still come to my basketball games, and, like, work me out before the games. Like he literally stayed, like he just did everything he could until he couldn't. And I really appreciate him for doing that because it made my relationship with him, and I felt like I got all I needed. I felt like I could rest when he rested. I felt like I wasn't cheated. I felt like, I told him everything that I want. I told him how much I appreciate him. I told him how much I loved him. And for me, that's why I was so almost angry at my friend today, because I'm like, tell me what I can do. Let me be there. Let me be a part of this journey. Don't try to shield me. Don't try to protect me. So when it happens, because it's going to happen, I can be prepared and I can communicate. I can live on. I can share your last words, or I can share the last memories, the last days. I can do that. You can live on, And I think with that experience that I think about, and I'm thinking, as we're talking about death today, is like, if you are dealing with something, if you are going through something, try not to hold it in. Try not to do it all yourselves. Like, give it to your people, share it with them, let them know. So that way they can be there for you. But then also you can draw boundaries and say, and I told her, if it's not, today is not the day, then just say, Shay, not today, but I love you. I said, give me a hug. Let me give you a hug. Let me just, and then I'll move on. I'll go away, because I know it's not going to be easy to talk about it. But like, I need to know I love you and I care about you. And so it's like having that relationship with that person, or vice versa. So like, let's create a healthy relationship with talking about these type of things. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's doable or whatever, because also I'm not sick, so I don't know. Right. So I'm just trying to start the conversation.
What I thought you said that was profound, Shay, and we kind of talked about this at the top of our conversation, is the point of having support and
how to move on. Right.
You have to have support, and what support looks like for you could be different from each person, right? Like for me, support is therapy. It helps me. I believe in the power of therapy, and that's something that I prescribe to. However, it could be a trusted loved one. It could be a good friend. It could be your significant other. Yep. It could be a third party that you have a good relationship with, whoever it is. Just get the support that you need. That's if you are going through a personal struggle with your own health that may be terminal. It could be you knowing that you're going to lose a loved one, like Shay and her experience that she's having. And Shay, I think it's helpful too, because you know how you are, you love hard, and you carry the weight of so many different people, because that's just who you are as a person, what I love so much about you. So you may need support for you. So don't think that the support just stops with folks who are experiencing it in their household, or if you're the actual person who has an illness. But it could be you just knowing someone that is going to pass or has passed in your life, that you need support too, Shay, for you to talk it out to someone. Maybe it's not feast, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's something, but so you can understand, maybe your friend is just not ready. Saying the words out of her mouth is just hard, and she may take time, but I think you talking it out so you can get what you need to best support her and to best support you through this journey and upcoming transition, I think is very helpful. I also think too is find something that you love to do and manifest and really spend time really living in that moment. So it could be like me, I love to go hiking. I love anything outdoors. And that brings me joy to my life. But whatever it is for you, whether it be going on a vacation, traveling around the world, reading, whatever it is, rest in that. Enjoy the things that you love to do, because look, life is so short.
It's so
Shay
short.
mentioned it before. It's very unpredictable. And we don't know when it's our appointed time or when it's one of our loved ones' appointed time. All we can do is pray and prepare for what's next and live your life. don't get so bogged down on, of course, I'm guilty of this all the time. I work like it's no one else's business. I spend so much time, but I also try to balance it out and spend time with my loved ones. I know I'm going to spend some time with my son soon. I miss him. That's my guy. We're going to go on a little, spend some time together on vacation. But do the things that bring joy to your life so that when you look back 10 years from now, you know that you are on a track to live life to your fullest.
Absolutely. And man, I'm guilty of the same thing. But I think one thing that I do to live life to the fullest is my connection to people, right? Like I can live through other people. That's why I ask them, how's your day going? How's your weekend? What's going on? Tell me where you are. Like, is there anything that you need? Because even having that connection, knowing, one of the girls at work went to Jamaica and she got to enjoy her family, and I've been seeing her work, 7 straight weeks. And, even when my friends who don't take vacation, I'm on them. I'm like, go home early, do this, do that. Like,
you're serious.
Just constantly, because it's like, I also try to think about death too. Like if I was to drop dead tomorrow, God forbid that doesn't happen. And I'm saying it because it's true. Meaning it could happen. And I don't want to have a fear of it. That's why I'm trying to even when I live my life every day, it's like, at least 18 people that I interacted with today know that it was a positive experience, which is the Shay Dawson experience. Like I always say, the best possible human experience one can provide person to person. It's like, that's how I lived the whole, every day, all the way until whenever the day is. That's how I lived. So it's like, if I'm not on vacation, I'm still connecting. I'm still on vacation with somebody. Or I'm still living through other people, trying to figure out how their human experience was. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely, and that's not for everybody else, but like, it's a good way to honor that, even when you are working every day. Take the time to talk to someone and find out what they're going through. Like it helps you kind of escape a little bit of escapism. So.
Absolutely.
That's how I do it.
Well, listen, Tippers, I know this topic was not easy to digest, but we all understand that it's part of life. It's going to be part of our journey. And we, again, want to continue to have conversations to kind of help us. We're in a community together and we are here for one another. So again, we thank you for just your support. We appreciate you. If we haven't said it before, let's say it again. We appreciate you. And we love that you're on this path with us. And let's keep doing some great things together. This is, when I think about when we first did episode number 1 to where we are now, so much has changed. And we just want to continue to be a light in your world. So please continue to follow Tipping the Scales where we get your podcasts.
Yeah, and continue to text these different episodes to people, as they're experiencing some of this stuff in real life. And we appreciate you. I get messages all the time. Like I sent that to my friend. And so
awesome.
Continue to help us out that way. We really appreciate it and we love you.
Yeah. Peace. Bye. Peace.